We're here to speak about how to manage references with Refworks for Higher Education Commission. And please note that for recordings as well as slides and for the certificates, you will receive those at least after 1 week. There's quite a big group of participants today, so we are expecting over 2,000 has registered, but more or less 1,000 people will join the session. So please bear with us. A couple of things to note: you won't be seeing the chat because that is disabled. Neither would you see the participants, or you won't be allowed to speak. For now, I will be the only one who can speak, as well as Nuria, when I ask her to support me on some of the questions, if there is anything that related to that. So please bear with us on that, and you will only be hearing us, and you can type any of your questions in the Q&A. Right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Samantha Bannette. I'm a training consulting partner. I'm the equivalent of Nuria, as well as someone who all of you are very used to, Sir Anna Zobayat. So I will be standing in and doing the presentation today on as well. And I did a session on Proquest and Citations last week, so you will also know that I've been an NSS panelist for quite some time. I'm based in the Dubai office, and I am a consulting partner for Proquest. Right, so what are the objectives of today's session? So basically, at the end of the session, you will be able to use the direct import, save to Refworks, and then also how to drag and drop to import references into your Refworks account. Furthermore, you would be able to organize and manage your references within the account. And then we will show you how to generate a bibliography with your chosen format. So what is Refworks? And this is a question we always get. I still want to check if you can still see my screen. Refworks is a premier reference management service that supports the needs of students, faculty, and librarians with a refined user experience with full text management, collaboration, and other features you'd expect from a reference management solution. Refworks also enables students and faculty to have a more efficient and reliable process for producing the best research papers of grants. Libraries are able to offer this powerful service and have full administrative controls and analytics that provides a consistent source of patron and content usage. With Refworks, it is simple and fast to collect or import materials. It also provides auto-completion of reference data and the retrieval of full text that saves time and ensure accurate citations. Refworks also enables users to organize, read, and annotate everything they collect and import. Refworks also smoothly allows users to share collections and collaborate with others. Furthermore, Refworks is accurate by delivering thousands of customizable citation styles to use within the authoring tools. And then it offers a streamlined workflow.
Samantha, I'm sorry, can you move to presenter mode?
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Create an account. You would, of course, type in, and Nuria can post this in the chat, by going to https://refworks.proquest.com, and you would be able to type in your details. And right now, I think we should go straight over into the live demonstration. But before that, I have one slide that I would want to explain to you. There's the Refworks interface, where on the left sidebar, you will have your last imported information. You will have details for sharing. You would also be able to see your folders, tags. Then we have on the top right-hand bar, the main navigation information, and we will explain all of these during
Samantha, you're breaking out a little.
as well, and as well it will authenticate you as a user, where you would see your name and your details. And then in the center pane would be whatever you choose on the left sidebar, those would display in the center pane. Then on the right sidebar, everything that's displayed in the center pane, all those details will be displayed there. Nuria, can I check with you if the sound is still perfectly fine?
Now it got a bit better, but you break out from time to time.
Is it? Okay, so my apologies. I have full bars on my data, so just let me know if it goes a bit slow, so I'll try to go slow as well. However, I'm recording the session for your benefit as well. So just a couple of things for you to be aware of. You have a Proquest LibGuide, and you may ask the question, how do I access the Refworks, for example? And from here, you can come and you can access Refworks by coming to your LibGuide as Proquest LibGuides, and I should probably click enter, and you can type in proquestlibguides.com/HEC, and you will have access. If you wish to have access, you can click on Refworks from access links, and if I click on there, it will open up in refworks.proquest/library at all. And because the system remembers me, it already logs me in. However, I'm going to log out for your benefit so that you can see how to log in. Right, so if you have an institution that you would fill in these details, for example, Samantha.Bannette and in my case, it is proquest.com. However, if you're in your institution, you would fill your institutional information in here. It is important that you enter your institutional details as the last details, so your institutional email ID, and you can create a password, and by simply you can sign in. If you do not have this sign-in information already, you can click on create an account or you can create your own account and you can enter your institutional email address. So for your benefit, it is best to use your institutional email address because it will allow you access to the platform. If you don't use your institutional email address, you may not have access to Refworks for that matter. Right, so now I have signed in as a user on the Refworks platform. And as explained to you, there's a couple of things that you will see. On the left-hand side, you will be able to see, on the left-hand pane, you will be able to see the system always will open up on the last imported information. And in my case, when I log in, it's automatically here and it will show everything related to last imported information. I see there's a question that pops up, and before I go further, it's important that all of you do need to understand how to create an account. Nuria will type the details or has shared the details of how to log into the account, and I'm going to go one back. If you go to refworks.proquest.com and you do not have an account, this is the screen right now. If you can see it, you would simply click on create account in the bottom of the screen. You will fill out your email address of your institutional email address. To be very specific, you need to fill out your institutional email address and you can hit the check button and fill this information out. So once you've filled out the information, you will be able to sign in, of course. And let's just move a couple of fields. Right, so now that I've created an account, I can log in by filling in the details that I have and simply hit the sign in button. Okay, so once everyone has created that, and maybe I should allow a couple of seconds for people to create their accounts if they do not have accounts as yet. Okay, if you still do encounter any issues with creating an account, you can let us know. Should you wish to send us a print screen if you receive any errors, please also do note that not all HEs have access to Refworks. If your institution is not on the list for institutions who has access to the resources, please do note that your institution may not have access to this. And if you do have any questions or queries about these, kindly send an email to your institutional librarian, and I will share all of contact details of the local representation which will support you on these as well. Now back to the platform as we've entered into Refworks by typing in the details and of course logging in. So now I have access to Refworks as a user. So a couple of things. On the left-hand side, there's the last imported, which is sort of the landing page where you will always get into. From here, you would also see the whatever was shared with you. You could also see your My Folders details, and I have a couple of folders, and I'm going to start by this. If I wish to add a new folder, I can simply click on Add New Folder, and I can enter details into this. For example, saying that I want to do a search on environmental studies, and I can hit the button, and now I have created a completely new folder. The system may take a little while to update. My internet connection is right. Let's move on. But that's how I would create a folder. From here, you can sort your folders or your details alphabetically. And if you wish to add any information into Refworks, there's a couple of views or a couple of ways that you can do that. I have pre-downloaded some PDF files from Proquest Central where I want. So I'm going to hit the add button, and you could simply just click on upload the document. And I'm going to add alcohol, let's say diabetes mellitus and making berries. I wish to add any two of them at any point in time. You and selecting all of it, but in my case, I would like to add diabetes and berries, and you can simply click the open button, and it will add your references. Get where uploading the files as we speak. Another important way of doing it is how you can simply drag and drop files by, and dropping files. I have pre-saved some files in my folder for Refworks where I am just dragging and dropping files, and I'm going to drag, as you've seen the previous files that I have. So I'm just simply dragging files to add into Refworks. Okay, let's move on. Now, let's say, for example, you wish to add Refworks or a reference from your Proquest Central account, and just give me a second. For some, Proquest Central account has just closed when I logged in, so I just wish to log in again.
Samantha, we can't hear you at all.
I'm not speaking right now.
Okay.
I am just connecting to my
You are breaking out a little, but it's better than it was before.
Okay, but what I'm asking you is if you can see my screen right now.
Yes, we can see Google right now.
You can see Google as in Google for the presentation.
Your browser. I am seeing a tab in your browser right now.
A tab in my browser right now. I just need to log into my eBook Central. All my authentications just completely shut down. For some reason, I lost connection.
Okay.
So
No
my humble apologies for that. Hi, Nuria. Can you hear me
Hi.
now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Bear with us because we had some technical problems. You're not sharing now, right?
I'm not sharing, Nuria. Would you mind proceeding? Because for some reason, all my browser files and everything just shut. If you wish to share the screen or if you wish to proceed, for some reason,
I can show it.
internet connection
Yes,
is
let's switch. I was going to offer that.
Okay,
Let's
thank
switch.
you,
Don't worry. So, can you mute yourself because there is some echo here, and if we're both speaking, we'll get echo. So hold on, because I need to change everything. Give me a minute. Now I need this. I need Refworks. Okay, and now I need to share my screen. Oh. Okay, Samantha, I don't know why, but I can't share. I don't have sharing capabilities. Can you stop sharing? Because you are sharing right now, Samantha. You need to stop sharing altogether or pass me the ball. Okay. No, I can't share. I don't know why. I am not a presenter. You need to go to participants, click on my name and pass me the ball. Make me a presenter, and then I will be able to present. Do you know how to do that, Samantha? You just go to participants, right click on my
yes,
name,
Nuria,
and
yeah.
I can't now. Yay, okay. So we're kind of switching over. Apologies, connections sometimes play games with us. Now you should be seeing my screen, okay? Samantha, I understand you take over the Q&A right now because I will be presenting. So
That's correct, yes.
I'm sorry because I need to switch the language because I was having Spanish now. Okay, now we have English. As Samantha mentioned, you can create your account, but be mindful that your institution might not have access. So please check with your library first. Then I already have an account, so I just put this. Okay, and then we'll get to the main excuse me, to the main screen. The first time you create an account, your account will be empty. You won't have any references, but you will be able to see this structure. This structure is for everybody in Refworks. And basically, from top to bottom, here you have the menu where it tells you to which institution you belong. We are at the Proquest University. Here you have your language. It captures the language of your browser. So if you are using English, you will be seeing English by default. I'm afraid we don't have any of your local languages, apologies, but you can have it here in English and then you can see all the languages we have here. And this is your personal settings. I have a lot because I'm an admin, I'm a trainer, but you will have your name here and you will have your settings where you can manage some of your personal preferences at Refworks. Then here, you have a menu that is related to all your references. So basically allows you to manage everything you have listed here, which are the references. And then on the left, you have a very important menu, which is all related to the folders and importing and everything. So here it allows you to see all your references. And then here at the top, you can see the number of references you have always and how many are displayed by page. So when you click on references, you will see here that I have 1,500, which is a bit ridiculous, but it's the whole thing in my account. And in here I can display, and I will talk about that in a little. This is the last imported. This is a very important menu as well. When you start importing references, and we'll get to that in a minute, everything that you import displays here, and it lasts for a month. So here you will have the history of what you have been doing with Refworks for the last month. I cleared it up for another demo, so I don't have anything. Sorry about that, but it's actually very useful for organizing. This is the sharing part. I will explain in a little moment, but I really want to explain this part here. These are your folders. You can have as many folders as you want. There is no limit. And the important thing here is that you can create them with this button. You can create a folder at a minute. You can say, I can create now a folder. You just write the name. And as you see, when it becomes blue, it allows to save it to you. And the really cool thing is that you can decide how you want to see these folders. There's an option key here called sort. And then sort allows you to sort them alphabetically or select custom, and then it means that my HEC folder that I just created is just ended up at the bottom of the here. Okay, where it is here. And if I want to, I can move it up so that it displays better. And as you see, now I just move it and it has a more important part in here. So this is quite useful because you can actually use the folders to organize your references. There's no single way of using Refworks. It's just a matter that you play around with it and then you find a way to use it. We're going to give you a very short introduction today, and then I think the really interesting thing is that you play around, and if you have any questions, you can ask our local agent or our colleagues. Then at the bottom, you have also the tags and also your bin, where when you delete something, well, it ends up here and you can actually rescue anything you have. So before I started presenting, there were some questions about how do I get content into Refworks. Well, there are actually several ways, okay? I'm going to show you a couple of them. I'm going to be using Proquest Central because I know it's a product that you have here at HSC. So what I'm going to do now is get into Proquest. I'm getting into there. Just wait a minute. Okay, this is Proquest Central, and bear with me for a moment because this is actually, it's in English. Okay, good, the language is correct. So here I can go and do any search, and if you're interested in Proquest Central, Samantha can share with you the sessions that we have done about that already, so you can actually, will get into Refworks. How do you do that? Well, in this case, if I get a list of results that I like, and I see that these two are actually quite interesting and I want to have them in Refworks, I select them at Proquest, and then can you see this? This is called the hamburger menu. I don't know why, but it's how it's called in English. But if I select it, it gives me the option. And as you see here, you can see Refworks. So hold on, because I just realized this is not in English. It's in Spanish. So let me switch it to English so that it makes sense to you. Makes more sense. Okay, now it's in English. So you can actually select, as I mentioned, you go to this all safe option, which is a hamburger menu. And then in the pop-up, you have Refworks. Okay. Another option, and it's actually easier, is you click in this. This is the side button. And then if you click in here, you also have Refworks in here. What does it do? Well, if you have already logged into Refworks, this will be imported automatically to your account. You click the button, you check it up, and okay, this is really nice actually. You say continue, and you get this menu, okay? And then it asks you if you want to export, and you say yes. You're seeing this because we're trainers and we have to show it to you. But if you are using your personal computer, I recommend you that you tick this little button here, and it won't show up again unless you clean your cookies. So if you want it, this can be a one-time thing. Clicking this, it won't show up again. In my case, it's actually, I won't do it because I want you to see it. And then here it asks you if you want to select to a project. We don't want to, so we leave it as it is. And remember that I showed you my folders. Sorry, they want me to do a survey and I won't. And you have your list of folders and you could actually import it directly to a folder. I won't do it and I will explain why in a minute. If you don't do anything, you just click import and it will show up in your last imported folder. So as you can see now, it will be show up just in a couple of minutes. So you will have your documents here and they are already in Refworks. So is it as easy as it is? Just for one thing, if I select, this is from the search base, but if I actually go to a result, you will see that the buttons are the same. So from the Proquest platform, just look for the site button and it will be there. You can use any kind of, as I mentioned before, you can use lots of different platforms, publisher platforms, and they will 90% of the times have a Refworks button that you can use and import. Any questions, Samantha? Anything that they are asking that I need to repeat about this process?
Yes, Nuria, two things. Apparently there's an echo. Don't hear any echo. The sound is quite.
Me neither.
Then the second thing is they are asking if there's a question on can access to Refworks be granted for individuals? And then also there's a question on is there any limitation on the number of resources they can upload into Refworks?
Oh, very good questions. So regarding the access for students, that totally depends on your university. We don't really control who can create an account. If you're an institution and you have Refworks, as long as you have an institutional email, you can actually get a reference and that's it. So we don't really have any problem with that. So my advice would be check with your institutions actually. And then for the second question, that's a very good question. No, there is no limit. There's no limit on space. And as I will explain in a minute, there's no limit on documents. Of course, be mindful, be sure that you comply copyright. I saw a question before that in the question and answers. You need to be sure that what you're saying is able to be shared, because otherwise you are actually, not respecting copyright. But if you have Proquest and you download articles from Proquest Central and you want to organize them in Refworks, there's no limit. Okay, there's no limit of space. There's no limit on that. And as we will show you, you can actually share that easily. So yeah, there's no limit actually. Regarding the echo, my configuration is correct, so I'm not sure what's going on, but probably the recording will be clear, so it's fine, okay? Let's move on to another way of importing, which is actually the other one I will show you. Sometimes you need actually to import from a web page, or you need to actually you don't see a Refworks button in a page, okay? For example, there is a very popular site, which is Pubmed Central, actually, which is really cool. And I know everybody in health sciences use it, but let me tell you that importing to Refworks from Pubmed, it's very complex because you need to download a file and do something very complicated, and you don't actually need to. For this way, as you can see in my browser, you have a little button called Save to Refworks, which will make your life much easier. So how do I get this little button on my Refworks? Well, first of all, I need to install it, but it's super easy. Everybody check the screen, okay? And then you can try it later and use the recording. But now I need you to be paying attention to my screen. You go to Tools, actually, in here, and then in the middle, you have a Tools button. And you have several options that we won't get into right now. But the first one, it's called Install Save to Refworks. This is called a bookmarklet. If any of you is very technical, this is how it is. You click here, and then you will notice that the screen changes, okay? And now we need to do a little trick. The first thing is make sure that the toolbar in your browser is available. If it's not, no trick. So please make sure it is available. Depending on the browser, it can be enabled on one way or the other. In the case of Chrome, it's done here from the tools menu. But make sure you have a tool here, a toolbar, okay? Then if you have it, then all is fine. And then check my mouse. Okay, now I'm doing little circles. Then you follow it and you put it on top of this black button. And can you see that it changed? And now it says drag button to the favorites bar. Then what I do now is I drag. You see, I am dragging it very slowly to my toolbar. And now you don't see it because you can't see me. But now I just release my mouse. And hold on, because it was too quick. Now, as you can see now, when you see this little vertical and this plus at the bottom of my mouse, then and here it is. Then you have the button, okay? So it's as simple as that. Then you click anywhere on the screen and you have the button here. now we have two of them, which, not ideal. So what I'm going to do is right click on my mouse and well, this is delete, sorry, it's in Spanish, but you say suprimir, it's delete actually, and it's not there anymore. And when I have this, I don't have to worry about learning where the little button is in Pubmed. Let me tell you that it's not. This is why I'm showing you this. But even in Proquest, you can actually use this. So this is like you have two options of importing whatever you prefer. This one is actually very handy, so it's fine. And then here I'm going to do another search, and again, Marfan syndrome again, just to keep the whole thing, and then I have results, and then I can do two things, okay? As you know, Pubmed presents you a list of results, but this doesn't actually matter because I don't have to learn about the page. So I just think that this one here is actually interesting. So I select a result and I get into in here, and then wherever I am, I click Save to Refworks, and I get here something we call a bookmarket. So it's like an add-on to the browser. Oops, what's going on? It's you need to wait for a bit if you see this because it's actually loading. So be a bit patient. I just realized today is the first Tuesday of the month, and we release Refworks the first Tuesday of the month. So things happen when we do trainings the first Tuesday of the month. So yeah, I think we were a little unfortunate with the whole timing. Okay, let's wait for a little bit until this works. There it is. Okay, and then this is the expected results. The other thing is just a little fluke. Sorry about that. And then this is actually the way to import it. This is very much as we had it before. If you were not loaded into Refworks, it will request you to log in, okay? But you can use your credentials. We already show you how to create it. So you have the journal article, the title, the tags, and you can actually change it if you want to. Obviously, we don't recommend it because you are supposed to be importing the proper references, but if you had to edit something, you could. And I want to notice you a little thing that the other way doesn't do, which is with this, and because this is an open access, not all publishers will allow it, but sometimes you will be able to import as well the PDF with the full text link, which is actually pretty cool. Then I say Save to Refworks and import. I can select folders as well here, but I want to because I want to show you how to organize information later. And there it is. Then I can close my sidebar and move on. And let me go back to my screen before the search. I can do another one. Anything here, doesn't really matter. The same process I did, I can actually do it by selecting results here, but I don't actually need to because imagine I want to import these two. Well, I don't need to select them even. I can just, let me deselect them because that way you will see it clearer. I can click the button and here it will capture everything they see on screen that looks like an article. As you can see, I have a very nice list. I can just get into one of them and I get to the same screen as I had before. I can actually select it. It will actually capture the PDF. If it has a PDF here, as you can see, it will show up here as well. So I can select 1, 2, 3, I can select all of them. I can check it inside to see if I really agree or not. I can do a lot of that and then select and select. I can just play around as much as I want to. And these two, for example. And when I'm done, I say Save to Refworks and I will import both of them. I could assign them to a folder. I won't because I want to show you all of them directly. And they are uploaded now. And with this, I can spend several times, browsing pages and playing around. And then when I'm done, it's done. I am done with my browsing. I can get back to Refworks. Let me close tabs because it's a little bit too much. And I can go to last imported. If you remember it was empty, well, it's not going to be empty anymore. And we will be able to see everything I have been doing in the last minutes. You see, a few seconds ago, 2 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. So this is the history of what I have been doing. As you can see, in some cases, I am extracting the PDFs. And I can actually see the PDFs because in some cases, I only exported the references. In other cases, I exported the PDFs as well. So I have everything in here. Is this the only way to export references? No, there are several more. I'm not going to bother you with so many because, you know, it's a lot and it's probably your first time with Refworks, but I don't really want to finish without showing you a way which is super useful and that I'm pretty sure you will be using a lot. Because, well, a logical question that we get sometimes is, hey, but this is very nice, but I didn't have Refworks before. And turns out I have like a lot of PDFs in my computer that I have been saving from different publishers. What do I need to do? Keep searching for the references and then capturing them into Refworks? Well, no. The idea of Refworks is making your life easier. So let me show you a little folder from my computer. And this is very typical, you know, that publishers, and we did that as well for a while, we don't give the clearest numbers to documents. And this is something, and maybe I don't even remember where I did get this or what is it about. But well, as I mentioned, we're here to try to make your life easier. You will have to do work. You always have to do work, but we try to make it easier. And there is a very cool feature, which is when you are in all references, you can get a PDF. And now also be very attentive to my screen because this is kind of quite cool, if I might say it. I can just drag the PDF, drop it, and it will import it into Refworks. So while it's being done, let me tell you a couple of things. If the PDF is very old, it might not import correctly all the way, okay? Because we depend on technology and we depend on how it's done. But I'm going to, you know, be willing to say that the majority of the recent PDFs will actually be pretty new and be ready to import and to also capture all the full text. If your PDF is made with an image, so it's not text, you can't select it, then probably you won't be able to. Let me show you what I mean. Let me actually open the PDF I'm trying to import. Let me open it with Reader, which just makes more sense. It is a PDF that I got from a publisher. And as you see, I can actually select it. If I can do this with the PDF, you can import it into Refworks. If I couldn't, because this is an image, then I won't be able to. While it's finishing loading, Samantha, I am wondering if there are any questions on the chat.
Yes, Nuria, a couple of questions that came. For example, one is if you can re-explain how to create an account. And I know I have gone over this twice.
That's okay. We'll do it at the end of the session. We'll do it at the end of the session.
Then also there's a question, can we import a folder from Endnote or Mendeley to Refworks?
Oh, I love that question. Give me a couple of minutes and I will get to that. Yes, actually, especially Mendeley. Let me get back to that in a minute. So as you see, I already have my documents, okay? And now let me show you something. Let me get back to here. When I select, let me go to last imported because it will be more clear to you because that way you see my workflow. Okay, then the thing is, what do I do with this? Because it's imported, I really want to order it. And there is also a question that you haven't asked yet, but you probably will is, do I have to be neat with Refworks? Well, you don't, okay? Because here you have a search functionality that searches full text and you can actually, you know, drop it here and forget about it. But with all things in life, if you are neat and you organize things, they are easier to find, okay? So this is why there are so many books that explain you how to tidy your house. Well, with Refworks, it's the same thing. It's nicer if you are tidy. And for this, you have the possibility of having folders. So here you have all your references. Everything you put in folder is here. And everything that you don't put in folder, you have a folder called not in folder. I know it's very funny, but this is how it is, okay? So I can actually select the references here, and I can either, you know, move it to any kind of, let me pick one that is in English so that you can actually understand. And as you see, when I put it in a folder, it appears that it's in this folder. And then I can deselect it. And there is another way. If you really drag and drop is not your thing, don't worry, because you can select several references. And in here, you have a very cool menu called Assign to Folder. And you can actually assign references to, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 folders, as many as you want to. And then don't worry about that because it's a configuration thing in my account. And then as you see, the green tells you that it is. And then as you see, I have my folders and my references in folders. So how about deleting? How about if I made a mistake and I don't really want this? It's fine. I can actually deselect everything. I can select, well, as you see, and in here you will select everything from this moment, and then individually I can do that. So I made a mistake. I don't really want this. Well, it's okay. Then you select delete, and then you have the option of deleting it, and it will go into your trash, which is at the end, that you need to empty, of course, like all the trash cans. The other thing is that maybe I had this in Marfan syndrome and discovery services, and then I realized that I made a mistake. I don't want it in discovery service. This is not about that. Well, the delete option has an option of removing it from the folder, but I can't do it from actually here because I'm not in a folder. When I'm going to discovery services, and then I see my accounts, as you can see here, I can sort out folders in different ways. Here I have them by date added, okay, which is the more decent. Also from date access, if you start working with Refworks, sorting out by this, it's cool because the latest thing you have been working on is at the top. So, well, whatever it pleases you. In my case, it works like this because I want to play around with this, and that way I can do it. If I'm in a folder and I select something and I use the delete button, I have two options. I can remove it from this folder, but keep it in the other one, or delete it altogether like I did before. If I remove from folder, in this case, it's easy because I had it in another folder, which is financial crisis in Spanish. So you learn a couple of words in Spanish, yay. But it's still in, in game theory as well, and in discovery services. And if, for example, now I do it again and I remove it from the folder, then it's only in this folder, okay? And if I delete it again, it's not in any folder. Let me do it again for the third time. And now, have you deleted it? No, I have not. And then notice this one here, that got 1,104. In a minute, it will have 1,105. Okay, it needs to reload in a little while because I remove it from all the folders. So here's the thing. When I delete them, I keep removing them from folders. What happens is I move them here to this big box of not classified things. If I really want to delete it, I need to use this other thing. As you see, I deleted from all the folders, and now it's in here. But everything not in folders, when I delete it forever, then I send it to the trash can. So you can actually manage this very easily. So I can select, 3, 4, 5, as many as you want to. I say delete. In here, I can only delete it, and then it will end up in my trash. So this way, I can control my Refworks. So I really, really recommend you to actually use the folders very wisely. So let's take a look at a folder. And how does it look onto a reference? Let me show you a couple of things. In a folder, when you click in a reference, and also here in our references, when you click it, let me pick one in English, actually, for you. So this is the preview of the references. You have all the information, the bibliographic information and all the fields. And then here you have as well the PDF. And you can actually open the PDF. And I can actually, here you can download it and print it, but the really cool thing is that I can read and highlight it. Okay, so I can highlight, and when I have highlighted, I can actually, just use little colors and play around and read it. I can also actually make comments. So this is like a notebook you have in your account, and you can also create little comments, and you can also add notes at the document. This is something which is really cool because remember that this is online. It's not in your computer, it's online. So if your battery, dies out and it has no battery, you can get to a public computer and access your documents. So this is really cool. Before I get into the last part, which is the cool part of what do I do with a list, I'm going to answer one of the questions we had before, which is, okay, I have an account with someone else. Can I actually transfer everything? Yes, you can, okay? Here in the add menu, you have an option called import references. And as you see, we accept it from several vendors. With some of them, it's easier than others, okay? You mentioned Mendeley. With Mendeley, it's as easy as click this button. It will actually connect you to your Mendeley account. You enter your credential, and it will import your structure of Mendeley, including the folders. Super easy, but give it a few minutes. It can take a while, especially if you have a lot of references in Mendeley. Okay, let me do it again. You are in any menu, in a folder or reference, wherever you are, you need that references menu. Okay, so it's here, add, and then add a reference, and import references, and you can import. With Endnote, what you need to do is export all your references in something called an RIS file. Samantha will write that in the questions for you. You get that file, and at the same time, in here, in import references, that file it looks like a text file. Okay, it's a very smallish file because it's all text. You drop it in here, like drag and drop, and then you can actually import your references. Or you can actually select it from your computer. You don't need to drag and drop. Okay? Any questions, Samantha? Because before finishing, we need to show again how to create an account. And also I want to show them very briefly how to write a document. Anything else from Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, there's a couple of questions. Will it cost $8 to increase the account space? Do we have a limit on the account space? And then can Refworks work offline or the internet connectivity? Is it mandatory? So if you can address those two, and then I will add more questions for you.
Okay, those are excellent questions. The first ones, you don't need to pay anything extra for space. Your space is unlimited. Okay, we are very proud of that. Your HIC is actually investing money, paying us already, so there's no need for you to pay more. Feel free to add any content as you want to. We really want you to feel like you can add anything you need to. Okay, obviously be mindful and remember about copyright, but as long as you don't infringe copyright, you're fine with Refworks. Okay, and then for the second one, that's actually a very good question. For this interface, yes, you need an internet connection. Okay, we don't really offer any kind of offline tool for Refworks. However, the Word plugin that I will explain very briefly, because we won't have that many time, but it's just a little explanation to be explored in further sessions, that one can work online. So if you are using Word, you can actually very easily work offline, but not with the interface where you need a browser and an internet connection, I'm afraid. Any more questions, or shall I go to the writing tools, Samantha?
Yes, Nuria, there's a couple of. Is there any way to create an account if your institution does not have access to HEC, meaning personalized accounts instead of institutional? And then the other, you need to re-show how to import references and how to edit reference details, because that question came up quite a number of times.
Okay, I can do that. For the first one, no, I'm afraid we don't offer any light version anymore. We did that a few years ago, so maybe somebody has heard about it. Not anymore. You really need an institutional subscription. So if your institution is not part of the Refworks agreement with Higher Education Commission, please encourage them to do so, because other institutions have it. So, well, I don't know the particularities, obviously, but, you know, ask in your library. For the second one, I'm going to show you the Proquest bit again. So here I have a couple of references, okay? And then I have an option called Cite. And then in Cite, I have Refworks. So the first idea, because this is only a way of doing it, the idea is that in many different vendors, you will somewhere see a Refworks button. Normally it's citation, and then you will always see Refworks. If you see Refworks, just click that button and your references will import in Refworks. The other way is the Save to Refworks button. If you don't see the button for how to import, then remember, go to Tools, and then install Save to Refworks and follow the instructions, okay? And then you will have this in your browser, okay? And then let me get back to Pubmed Central. Pubmed Central. for example, Pubmed Central, but any other. You can actually do it with newspapers if you want to, it's fine. Then you get results. And from the search list or whatever it is, you click the button, and then you will have, as you see, you will have here different elements that you can save to Refworks like this, and it will get into your account, as simple as that. And remember, you can also drag and drop from your computer. Any PDF you have that is a text file, you can drag it into any account and you can do it. Regarding references and how to edit them is very simple. Just get to any view where you see references in Refworks, doesn't really matter. And just click any references, just give it a minute until it loads. When you click any reference, at the moment, you display it here, and then with this button, you can edit any of the fields. Then remember that when you edit a reference, it affects how you cite it. So if you want to switch the style of citation, you don't need to edit the reference itself. You only edit it if you are missing fields and if you need to add something. But if you need this to be displayed in a style, you don't do it by editing. You do it by formatting it in a style. And this is what I'm going to do now. Yeah? Okay. We don't have that many minutes left, and I really want to show you two ways of creating a bibliography and then very, very briefly Word plugin. So I'm going to go there. And then if there are any questions unanswered, please write them there and we will get back to you. Okay, so, okay, I have a very nice, let me show a folder that is a little bit normal. Yeah, let's do the cognitive linguistics one that has 4 references and it's not very big. So I have this, and I really want to do a bibliography with this. How do I do it? Well, we have a button here called Create Bibliography, and then Create Bibliography, and then we get into the fantastic world of styles. I got a question about APA before. Well, this is where you actually select your style. As you see, by default, which means the last one I was using is APA 7th. We have the latest version of APA here, and then it formats my bibliography that I can copy into a clipboard, and then I can actually, well, very easily open a Word document. Let me open a new one. So hold on a minute. Oops, sorry, because it opened. I don't know why I got Firefox in here. I can just get to Word. Let me open a Word document, a blank one. And then apologies because my Word is in Spanish, so I will have to show you the different things. So this is Word, okay? And then I paste, and this is my bibliography. And this is it. It's very easy. I don't need API. I need Vancouver, for example, because I'm dealing with, as you see, I can have the Vancouver, and this is actually one of those. I can select Vancouver. And as you know, this is a numeric style, which means I don't have an author and a date. I have these numbers. I can copy to clipboard. I can get back, remove the text I had, and then I have my bibliography. So this is very simple. Okay, this is very super easy, super simple, and it doesn't have many issues. But of course, sometimes I have a long text and I have, you know, text and I need to cite it and I need to use different add-ons. Well, we have several add-ons. I'm going to show you the newest, which is called Refworks Citation Manager. Maybe in the future we will do a session about that. I leave that to my colleagues. But today, as this was an introduction, I wanted just to show you the most usual one. It's called Refworks Citation Manager. And then how do I install it? If you have the latest version of Word, okay, it's very easy because you go to the Insert menu. I'm going to say the names of the menus in English because this is in Spanish actually. Insert, okay. And then here you have something called add-ons, okay? It's like a shop, like anyone's. Then it's in here, okay? It's this little red squares logo thing. And then this is like the shop of the Office plugins, the Office add-ons. And then it can take a while to load. It really depends on your connections. And the only thing you have to do is remember to type in here Refworks. Okay, you say Refworks. And then it's called Refworks Citation Manager, okay, RCM, this is how we call it. And then you say add, okay, you just click this button and that's it. And then when you have done it, you will have this menu here called RCM and it loads the complement. Okay, it's here. And then when you click it, you get this menu on your side. The first time you actually need to enter your credentials, obviously. And then the next time it is here. And this connects to your account. Remember the question I had before about working offline? If you don't have internet connection, you can use this, okay? It doesn't matter if you don't have an internet connection. It will remember the last time you had connected and it will load your account, okay? So this is how it works. Then I can have some text. Let me insert some text so that we can work. And then I have, a text, doesn't matter, it doesn't say anything interesting. And the point is in here, I need to add a reference, okay? Then it's very simple. Here, as you can see, I have all references. I could search for a specific reference that I remember I have, or if I click here, I have my folders. This is the same folders I have in Refworks, and I can select the since folder, which we were playing around before, and I can, say this. It formats and then it is. Which is the style I'm using? Well, why Vancouver? Because it's the last one I was playing around before. Okay, and I can switch it at any time, as I will show you. Then I have another one. Yeah, I want to cite this as well. Cool. Oh, look, now I need to cite two of them. Well, it's fine. Then I cite this and select another one. And then as you notice, I have two of them and I can insert them if I want to. Oh, but I need to edit it before. Well, I can edit the file. Okay, and I can remove one, I can remove the other. And then at the end, when I'm done, I have to insert my bibliography, obviously. I click here on the menu at the top, and then I have bibliography. Here it says off. The moment I turn it on, it formats and it creates me a bibliography. I need to remember to put my mouse at the end of there. Okay, this is super cool. And then I have one of those, oh no moment. Turns out that I didn't have to use Vancouver. I needed APA, 7th. Oh, what do? It's fine. I go here and I have a menu called Citation Style. And I can change it at any time. And then I can search. As you see, we have nearly 7,000 styles, so you will have one. I can have some favorites. I also have a list of reference styles. And as you see, I was using APA before, so I can very easily either search it here or select one of my favorites. It will let me know that, hey, this is how it looks. Are you sure you really want to change it? Yes, I am actually. And just by magic, everything changes from a 1, 2, 3, 4 to a author date number where, as you can see, my references now are actually totally different. And I can insert more. Now I can select another one. And before I do that, as this is an author date, in here I have information. It's not only a number. I can actually change things and add things at the beginning and at the end. This is very complex. We can actually do a lot of that. I just want you to see that there's this possibility, okay? We are tight on time, sorry about that, and we had some technical difficulties, but we just wanted to make sure that you know that this is the objective of the whole thing. But first of all, you need to create an account, play around with Refworks, insert all kinds of citations, and then for sure, my colleagues, Samantha and Anna Shoaib, who you know very well as well, who will actually schedule some sessions about this for the future. Samantha, let's do a last roundup of questions and things. And before that, let me show you once more how you create an account, because there was a question about that, and we promise we'd address it. So I'm going to log out first. So this is the Refworks page. Samantha can share it in the question and answers, okay? And then here you have a login code, create account. You need to introduce here your institutional address. If you don't have an institutional address, but you know that your institution has Refworks, contact your library. If your institution doesn't have Refworks and you want to ask if it's a possibility, contact your library. if you have an institution address and you know that you are part of the Refworks agreement with Higher Education Commission, enter your institutional address and then click check, and it will, enable it for you, and then it will guide you to the process, which is super simple. Okay, so just go to refworks.proquest.com and say create account, and if you are on, then you're on. It's very easy. The thing is that make sure you can create the account, okay, that you have an institutional email address and that your institution is part of the Higher Education Commission agreement for Refworks. Samantha, let's get back to the last questions before we wrap it up, with our apologies for all the technical mishappenings that sometimes happen.
Okay, Nuria, there's a question. Is there any way to extract only the abstracts from list of research papers?
Yes, but it's quite tricky, okay? And this is another excellent question, because that's a question for our support colleagues, okay? We have excellent, amazing, wonderful, awesome, I don't know how many more adjectives to use for support. And now let me show with you the LibGuide of Higher Education Commission, which is actually here. This is the LibGuide, okay? And then in the frequently asked questions, you have several sections: content and services, access, training, certificates, so all the questions you have been asking, and support. And here in support, you have two wonderful backups. Our local agent, okay? Mr. Javed Ishak, I hope I'm pronouncing it well. So he's available, but for questions like you had before, submit a ticket, okay? Submit a support ticket, and they will be more than willing to help you out in that. Because yes, it can be done, but it's totally out of the scope of this session today. But yeah, it's you have to export it in a CSV file and then capture the field you want to. So yeah, it can be done, but it's a little bit too advanced for this session. So please contact us and we will help you out with that. More questions?
Okay, so just to Nuria, if I may, there's the questions are asked related to certificates, the recordings, as well as the slides. Please note you will receive these 1 week after the training session. Please do look in your spam or junk folder. Also note that we will only share certificates with those who attended the session at least for longer than 15 minutes. So if you haven't received a certificate, kindly ensure that you send an email to training@proquest.com, and we will respond to you related to your information your attendee information that we emails from people regarding certificates. We will only share the certificates and the recording and the slides 1 week. So that means by the 8th of works.
Samantha, you're breaking up, I'm afraid.
Sorry, there's a question on how to add citations from Google Scholar using Refworks.
It's a way of importing. Remember that I explained to you, there is a button where it says Refworks, and you can import by that. In Google Scholar, actually, I can do it very quickly before we close up.
Okay, I think that brings us to the end of the session. We've gone over time. We've also had some technical difficulties. If we didn't get to your question, there's over 300 questions. And humanly possible, it's not possible to answer all the questions. If you think that your question was very important and we didn't address it yet, please do send it to us through to training@proquest.com and allow us some time to respond to you, because we receive hundreds of questions as well as questions about certificates. Do not email us, please, for certificates and the recording as well as the slides, because these will be made available, and it's also available. Nuria, if you can share on the screen the HEC LibGuide right now so that people can see the LibGuide again, because you are sharing. Please go there, because your recordings will be added there. And then for your certificates, Kindly note that your certificates will be shared through Simple Cert email address, so please do allow some time for us to be able to do that. So that brings us to the end of the session. Right now on the screen, Nuria, have the HEC training details available. And please forgive us if we didn't get your to your question. Please do send it to training@proquest.com and we will respond to that. So thank you very much and thank you for your patience. All the best. Thank you, Nuria.
Thank you very much.
everyone.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.